Welcome back, brothers and sisters. I am Braden. This is Langley Outdoors, the place where we not only talk about what's going on in the gun world, but also how we're going to fix it together. And guys, something is clearing up, like the clouds over a lake. The mountains are coming into view because the gun control people are not going to be happy that their progressives, the acolytes, the ones who are their supporters, the ones that are not allowed to have guns, are buying guns in mass. In fact, the biggest group of ownership increase out there. This is going to be nightmare fuel for a long time. Giffords.org, every time for gun safety. Caution, warning, you don't want to watch it. But for the rest of us, freedom and loving Americans, everything we linked into the description box below. I'm going to walk you through all this right now because this is freedom, baby. And of course, make sure you hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. Let's get directly into the goodness. This is a way to end the week right here. All right. This is from the Wall Street Journal, people. Remember that thing we're always talking about, how, you know, gun controllers want a gun control and they want to take the gun control away, or take the gun rights away with gun control? Yeah, I'm just going to highlight this real quick. The most surprising, the most surprising new gun owners are U.S. liberals. And what's worse, after decades of decline, gun ownership is rising among Democrats. All right. Now, tons of things highlighted. This is going to blow your mind, but here's the bottom line that we have to get out in the open right now. Braden, why are we talking about this? Who cares if Democrats are buying guns? Who cares if liberals are buying guns? Every one of us should care if liberals and Democrats are buying guns, and the reason why is because it proves that they do not believe in the underlying message of gun control. That's the point. The entire gun control movement is based off of a bully system where if you're on the left, you can't have guns inside anybody you know, because my virtue signal is I don't support the gun lobby, the dark money that controls Washington, as they've been told for decades now. And it's increasing in intensity currently over the last 10 years, particularly in the Biden administration. However, if those people that are not allowed through social pressure to have guns are buying guns, that means that you are permeating the entire cloud cover that we're talking about earlier. Let's keep going. Let me show you this, guys, because like I said, this is nightmare fuel. If you are a gun controller, this came out today. Check this out. Oh, man. Michael, I can't even, Simonakalaksky, a lifelong Democrat, supports stricter gun laws and contributes to Sandy Hook Promise, a gun violence prevention nonprofit. But this summer, the liquor store clerk in Iowa City, Iowa, for the first time in his life, bought a gun. Don't worry, it gets a lot crazier. Apprehension about street crime, armed right-wing extremists, and whatever else the world could possibly throw at us drove his decision. Domestic politics have grown increasingly acrimonious, says Simonakowski, 43. All right, I'm not going to get his name right, so let's just roll with it. All right, it's probably different every time. But the bottom line here, and the point to understand, this guy is so concerned about, how did you say it? Increasingly acrimonious state of affairs? Yeah, that means that all the policies that they are voting for on the left, like light on crime prosecutors and no cash bail and all of these different policies, it's driving them to abandon the policies that got them there to buy guns. This is the whole point. And if I drill this down to anything, the remedy for the things that they voted for are a conflict to the thing that they voted for, so they're doing the remedy to conflict with, or to fix the thing that they voted for. This is so key, guys, because you have to understand, if they have a gun, and this is why it's important for the gun controllers to achieve complete bully status and not let anyone have one through social pressures, because if they have a gun, they start to identify with, well, you're going to take my gun away, and the power is gone like that. That's the important piece. Let's continue on, because this stuff is powerful. American gun culture has long been dominated by conservative white men. Wait for it. Now, in a marked change, a burgeoning number of liberals are buying firearms, according to surveys and fast-growing gun groups, drawing minorities and progressives. It's a group of people who 5 years ago would never have considered buying a gun, says Jennifer Hubert, an anthropology professor at Lewis and Clark College in Portland, Oregon, who has researched liberal gun owners. You have to understand what this does to the ethos and to the psychology of gun controllers. Because if they spend all their time attacking people like me and like you, who are the gun rights advocates, the true patriots in this country, in my opinion, then they are going to have a singular focus aimed at us. But if they have to spend all of their time aiming at us and then splitting that attention over to their own constituencies who are buying guns at record levels, they're splitting the mission. Okay? This is, bear with me. We're going to keep on going, and let me know if I land this plane. Historically, it wasn't unusual for Democrats to own guns, with many more of them living in rural areas. Also, hunting was much more popular, but, and this is a huge but, starting in the early 90s, gun ownership among Democrats dropped significantly. Increasingly divisive political battles over the role of firearms in American society led the Democratic Party to become an advocate for gun regulation, and Republicans became the party of gun rights. Now, today's Democrats are rediscovering guns. Okay, understand, in a political layout and the landscape that we live currently in the United States, you have the Democrats who went hard line towards gun control. They did that because they followed the population. The population, and they went strolling on down the left of the gun control avenues, straight up Stalin style. The right said, nah, we're not budging. And I got graphs in a second. The left is starting to move back because the very policies that they've enacted are encouraging more gun growth. Guys, you can't make this stuff up. Let's continue on, because if I got graphs. Let's just look at these graphs. All right, so as you can see on the left side over here, you got blue Democrat, red Republican, gray Independent. The Democrats in recent history have skyrocketed in gun ownership, and they've almost passed independents. Meanwhile, Republicans are up in the top going, nah, we're good. We never budged. Understand, with this group of people right here at 29.2%, that's a big jump from last time they took that at 25.4%, and prior to that, 23.2%. The Democrats are buying guns at a faster clip than Republicans are. It's only a matter of time before the constituency starts holding the politicians on the left to a little bit more tight of a standard on gun control, because now it's affecting them. All right, keep going. 29% of Democrats, or those leaning Democrats, said they had a gun at home in 2022, up from a 4-decade low of 22% in 2010. Do you understand? Okay, guys, that is a 7-point increase. You want to see what the Republicans increased at? 55% of Republicans had a gun in the home, up 3 percentage points. The Democrats doubled the growth of the Republicans. So the very same constituencies that are being bombarded by the Democrat politicians and calling us all these bad names, their own people are adopting guns at 2x the rate that we are. I'm not saying, I'm just saying, keep on going. The message is permeating the propaganda. Now, here's where we get the real fun part, and you guys are going to enjoy this part, and I always put the really good stuff right in the middle so you guys who stay around, the stalwart warriors here with me. A hidden pursuit. Now, why would it have to be hidden? It's weird, because the party of inclusion, right, on the left, we love everybody, unless, of course, you're not one of us. With guns still taboo, you know what, let's zoom in a little bit here. Here we go. With guns still taboo among many on the left, some new liberal firearm owners say they don't tell their friends or even relatives, and they say they don't want to join and feel unwelcomed in gun stalwarts such as the National Rifle Association or online message boards like AR15.com. We have to have harbors and havens, said Randy Mian, who runs Liberal Gun Owners 5,000-member group. Okay, first of all, anybody who's sticking their foot into the toe of getting in the gun world is not going to go to AR15.com. I mean, come on. That ain't going to happen. That ain't going to happen at all. That's kind of like when you're flirting as an independent, maybe you're a Democrat, and then you go to the DNC. Nah, you don't do that. Nah, it's not it. That ain't it, guys. That ain't it. But now, listen to these firsthand experiences and talk about the gun culture permeating the propaganda. Let's hear from Alejandra Mendez, 32. And by the way, you guys go over to Second Legacy and watch me and Tim break this down, because it's hilarious, the exchanges we had today on this one. Anyway, Alejandro, 32, said she decided to take a gun class with Wynn, who is a liberal or a progressive trainer, in 2019 after moving to a new neighborhood, which means she had reason to do so. Crime increased. Anyway, Mendez, who is married to a woman, worries about anti-gay violence and crime in general. She said, crime in general? And what did the other guy say? An increasingly acrimonious state of affairs? Yeah, that's crime. She had initial trepidation about visiting gun ranges dominated by mostly older white men, but found most people there welcoming. Well, that's weird. Today, Mendez, a healthcare worker, owns 4 guns, 3 handguns, and an AR-15, and completed training for concealed carry permit. So in a 4-year span, this is the dark magic they don't want you to know. If you are tilting on the fence of, should I get guns, should I not get guns, should I defend myself, not defend myself, should I take part in my American freedoms? Legitimately, this woman, who's 32, is so concerned about crime in general and anti-gay stigmas that she went out and got a handgun in 2019 and learned to use it, dispelling the fear that the gun controllers put inside of their heads. Then, 4 years later, she's got 3 handguns and an AR-15? Red-pilled much? This is the point and the reason I'm doing this video, guys. You never know who you're going to reach with your pro-freedom language. You never know who you're going to reach with your pro-2A stances. This person clearly is not the archetype of who's going to buy guns first. But they did. They didn't just buy 1, they bought 4. And one of those is the dreaded weapon of war AR-15 assault weapon, super-duper nuclear-tipped bullets gun. I'm just saying, guys, this is a really big thing. If you are on a gun-controlling side, this is the last thing you want to see. And speaking of last thing you want to see, last piece here. Most criticism, she said, comes from some progressives asking why she would ever own a gun. She finds it hypocritical that those critics assert their constitutional right to free speech, but reject the constitutional right to own firearms. Oh my God, she nailed it. Absolutely nailed it. So what I just went through with you guys is pure, straight nightmare fuel for gun controlling groups. Every Time for Gun Safety, Giffers.org, Brady, Moms Demand Action, all of them. They start leaking people like this at double the rate that Republicans are picking up the guns. You're not going to have a point of gun control strength anymore in the United States outside the extreme left bastions, and even those will be weakened. You're making a difference. Even if you don't think that you are from the politician rhetoric, look at what's happening to the people who are supporting those exact same politicians. Real life is hitting them real hard, right in the face, and they start with dipping their toe in a gun for concealed carry and for handgun safety, and they end up with 3 handguns and an AR because of a acrimonious environment. You're making a difference, and that's what I've got for you guys. Let me know what you think in the comments below, and I will see you on the next one. I'm Braden. See you later.